With the stock markets around the world in serious crisis, American voters are deeply worried about the future. So let's talk about the presidential candidates' plans for the economy and more with two influential congresswomen. Democrat Debbie Wasserman Schultz is joining us from Davie, Florida, and Republican Congresswoman Heather Wilson is joining us from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Thanks very much, Congresswomen, for coming in. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, I'll start with you, and I'll play a little clip of what Senator McCain said in Denver on Friday, because he's hammering away what the Republicans have always said are Democrats' traditional tax and spend policies. Listen to this.
Senator Obama may say he's trying to soak the rich, but it's the middle class we're going to get through the ringer, because a lot of his promised tax increases misses the target.
All right, I want you to tell us why you think that Senator Obama's strategy right now to increase taxes on big corporations and on the wealthy is not going to have that effect down to the middle class and eliminate jobs, for example.
Well, Senator Obama's tax cut focus has been almost exclusively on the middle class. 95% of working families would get a tax cut under Barack Obama. Small businesses that create a new American job would get a $3,000 tax cut, a 50% tax cut on health benefits if they provide them. So what Senator Obama is saying is that the wealthy have had their president, they've had their leadership in Washington, and it is time for working families to make sure that we can focus on them and give them some tax relief. That's what his focus has been. And unfortunately, Senator McCain just wants to continue to expand the tax cut, the Bush tax cutting policy for the wealthiest Americans.
The Democrats make this argument, Congresswoman Wilson, saying, look at the dramatic tax cuts of 2001, 2003, the Bush tax cuts, and the economic situation of the United States has not necessarily worked out all that well over these past 8 years.
We have some serious challenges in our economy, Wolf, and that's why it's the wrong thing to do to increase taxes on working families. Senator Obama's plan to increase taxes is the wrong way to go. And in fact, he has voted for tax increases on people making $42,000 a year or more. And as he saw in a very unscripted moment of honesty with Joe the plumber, his intention is to spread the wealth around. That's not what government is for. We need low taxes. We need to control the growth of government spending so that we can create jobs. And if you look at Senator Obama's tax increase plan, what it does is 50% of those tax increases will impact small business. And that is the engine of economic growth in America.
Congresswoman
7 out of 10 new jobs come from business.
You know, Wolf, it really is emblematic. Heather's comments are emblematic of the situation that the McCain campaign finds itself in right now. They really are struggling from issue to issue. Last week it was Ayers. This week it's spreading the wealth around. It's very clear to Americans that John McCain would leave out 101 million Americans from a tax cut, and Barack Obama would cut taxes for 95% of Americans. How could you possibly suggest that it is a bad idea to give a tax break to working families? Barack Obama would raise taxes only for people who make more than $250,000 a year. You know what? Those people have been well cared for. Excuse me, Heather.
Making $42,000 a year.
No. See, that's not true, and you are making things up, and I'm not going to allow you to do that. Barack Obama has not ever voted for taxes for that level.
Yes, he has, and so did you in the Democrat budget this year.
No. See, that you are just making that up, and that is not so. You tell me what instance that occurred, Heather. You can't, because it isn't true.
The Democrat budget this year
is that
for
John
fiscal
McCain
year 08
doesn't have a tax cut policy other than to continue to help the wealthiest Americans, and people are tired of that. It's working families' turn.
Congresswoman Wilson, you point to the Democratic budget resolution that would lay out an increase in taxes. But hold on one second. The point, though, is that these are just these are non-binding. These are not appropriations. These are not these budget resolutions are supposed to give a direction, but they don't have any impact on really cutting taxes or increasing taxes. Is that right, Congresswoman
You're right,
Wilson?
Wolf, you are right that what the Democrat budget resolution does is set out the architecture for the entire year. It is actually one of the most important votes that we have every year, and I know that because I've been on both sides of those votes when Republicans controlled the House of Representatives, because it sets the overall architecture and the plan for the year. And what that did was said that, yes, I favor increasing taxes on those making $42,000 a year or more, and that's the direction
and you
should
know it,
go
Heather,
in.
and
Not
it's the only straw you have to grasp.
That way, but Debbie, you did too, and that was the wrong way to go for our economy.
That is the only straw that you have to grasp, to stretch the truth, and that people are tired of that. People want to move in a new direction, Wolf. They want to make sure that they can have universal health care. They want to make sure that they bring the troops home from this misguided war in Iraq. They want to make sure they can invest in alternative energy. I'll tell you what they don't want. In Florida, people don't want to have $882 billion cut out of Medicare, which is what John McCain would do to give a paltry $5,000 tax credit.
He has never said that, and even independent folks have said that is
Hold
absolutely
on. Ladies, hold on one second.
Douglas Holtz McKean specifically said that in order to pay for McCain's health care plan, he would cut Medicare by $882 billion.
Before we get to that issue, hold on one second. Debbie Wasserman Schultz,
sure.
In that budget resolution, which is non-binding, sort of just sets out, as Congresswoman Wilson said, an architecture, if you will, some guidance. Was there, in fact, a increase on taxes for those individuals making $42,000 a year?
No, there was not.
Yes,
I really don't know. Well, we can go, yes, there was, no, there wasn't. But the bottom line is that you are specifically accusing me and Senator Obama of voting to raise taxes on that group of people, and we did not. A budget resolution does not raise taxes. It lays out a blueprint, and the bottom line is that...
But was there a blueprint for raising, without actually raising taxes, was there a blueprint that included $42,000 a year, an increase in taxes?
There was not.
That's exactly right.
Well, we can get into he said. I'll bring the budget document back next time, and we can show you.
Go ahead, Congresswoman Wilson.
Here's the reality. We have one candidate who is proposing to increase taxes. We have another candidate who is saying that is the wrong way to go, particularly with small business. We have Senator Obama, in a moment of candor in Ohio, saying we need to spread the wealth around, and that's why Joe the plumber should pay more taxes if he ever gets the opportunity to run his own business. We need some serious change. We can't rest our hopes in somebody who says the right way to go is massive new government spending and massive tax increases to pay for it.
98% of small businesses, Wolf, make less than $250,000 a year, and the McCain campaign knows it, Heather knows it. The bottom line is that they just are trying to throw enough stuff up on the wall during the last 9 days of this campaign and hope something sticks, and they know that people want to move in a new direction,
Debbie
and they wouldn't do it.
Here's the latest argument we're hearing from Senator McCain on what happens if the Democrats take the White House and expand their majorities in the House and Senate. Listen to this.
You know, my friends, you got Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, and Barack Obama. You've got a recipe for tax and spend, tax and spend, tax and spend.
That was at a rally in Florida on Thursday. How are you going to respond to that argument?
Oh, I'm going to respond to it by saying that all the McCain campaign has left is name-calling and manufacturing issues that just aren't there. John McCain knows that Barack Obama has proposed tax cuts for 95% of working families, has proposed investing in alternative energy and making America energy independent within the next 10 years, bringing our troops home finally from this misguided war in Iraq and our resources home. We're spending $12 billion a month in Iraq. We need that revenue here at home so that we can turn this economy around. And that's all that McCain's got left.
Heather Wilson, are you embarrassed that the Republican National Committee spent $150,000 buying designer outfits for Sarah Palin at Saks and Neiman Marcus, another $20,000 for makeup in the first 2 weeks of October alone, $10,000 for hair? Is this what a hockey mom should be getting?
Well, it sounds like there's some staffers at the RNC who need a little education on how to shop at Walmart and Ross Direct. But it does concern me that in the last 10 days of an election campaign, we're talking about those things. And you know, we could talk about Barack Obama's ties or the vice president's hair transplants or something like that.
Spend that kind of money on
Senator
his ties.
Biden's. But I would rather talk about things that matter,
buys them himself.
like which direction we go to get our economy back on track. And we have two very different candidates in very different directions here. And I think that Americans should be concerned about Pelosi, Reid, and Obama, because Katie barred the door on government spending if that's the way Americans choose to go. And we will go back to very big government and government in your lives, in every aspect of your life.
Wolf, when it comes to spending, it's the Republicans under the Bush administration that have gotten us into the biggest deficit in American history. We had a budget surplus. It is the
Congress that appropriates, Debbie, and you of all people know that.
And the Congress was controlled by Republicans for 8 out of the last 10 years. So let's keep that in mind.
We balanced the budget for the first time since 1969.
No, my dear. You got us into a deficit situation within 3 years of the Bush administration. So we had a Clinton surplus.
We have a Bush
deficit.
Was your budget bigger than the Republican
budget?
budget?
Would continue more.
Did you want to spend more than President Bush did? And you passed that budget.
All right, guys, we got to leave it there.
What we wanted to do was we wanted to move the country in a new direction for all Americans, and you guys want to leave things just the way they are.
On that note of disagreement, we'll continue this conversation down the road. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Heather Wilson, a good-spirited discussion as usual. Thank you very much.